Yo guys, what's up? My name's Callum Dolby and welcome to the Posh Preview. This is a new series on my channel. Obviously with my channel being fairly new, there will be a lot of new series I guess happening. So this is another one called the Posh Preview. Basically in this series, before every Peterborough United game, which is where I'm from, I will be talking about obviously the game, my predicted lineup, score prediction, that sort of general stuff, what I think is going to happen, and obviously if there's any other games that are of massive importance to Posh, then I will be talking about them as well. And it just so happens there's a big game that we have to look out for on the weekend, with it only being 3 games left of the season for us and 2 for most other teams, I believe. So we've got, obviously, our run-in is Walsall tomorrow, and then you've got Portsmouth away Tuesday. That'll be a hard game. If we can get anything from that, that'll be great. We need a win really to get in 6th. And obviously we have got Burton on the last game of the season. So realistically we need Doncaster to lose and us to win in one of the Saturday games for us to even stand a chance. Because if we win on Saturday or tomorrow, and Doncaster lose, we'll be level on points with them. So all we have to do is win the next game and get a point away at Pompey. So that'll be really good if we can do that. But anyway, let's get into the preview. So firstly, I want to talk about obviously Doncaster versus Oxford, because that is a big game that we have to look out for. I'll be checking the scores definitely. Donny in an okay run of form. I think they've lost the last 2 against Sunderland and Accrington, because Accrington did us a massive favour on Tuesday. If Donny would have beat Accrington, that's it, we would have been done. But we're still in it somehow. So yeah, Donny, not great run of form, but Oxford haven't lost in their last 8 games, which is, I don't know if that's a good sign, because all good runs have to come to an end. But yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. I'm not sure who's going to win. I reckon it'll be a draw. I think Donny and Oxford will be maybe a 2-2, 1-1 draw, probably 2-2. I'll say 2-2 for that game. And then obviously getting onto the game that I'm going to be talking about in this video is Peterborough United versus Walsall. So Posh versus Walsall is tomorrow. I'll be going to that game. You might see a vlog on this channel. Don't know if I'm going to do it yet or not. We'll see where the day takes us. If anything interesting happens, I will record it, and I'll see if I can put a video up on it tomorrow. But we'll see. So obviously Walsall are 22nd in the table, 23rd. They are 4 points of in the relegation zone, so they need to gain 4 points in their last 2 games. So they're obviously fighting for their lives. But I've read a few Walsall fans' views on Twitter and stuff like that, and they're saying that their squad is that bad that they could go for like a double relegation sort of thing, like straight into non-league. Now, I don't know if that's the case, because Walsall's like a bogey team for us. We always seem to draw or lose at the Bescot Stadium, or Besco, I don't know how to say it, whatever. I've been the last 2 seasons and withdrew both games. I think it was the last 2, maybe last season and then the season before that. I went to both of them games and we drew both for some reason. But yeah, it's a tricky one, because obviously when you're coming up against teams that are literally fighting for their lives, especially Walsall, who literally need to win, they can't slip up. If they draw and like the teams above them pick up a point or win, then that's it. They're down. Like literally, they're down. They've only got 2 games to play, I think. Yes, 2 games to play. So it will make for an interesting game. Obviously, we're fighting to get into 6th, which I'm not sure if we can do, but we've got a game in hands. Yeah, we're fighting for 6th. They're fighting to stay in the league. So it's going to be an interesting game, but I really do think we have the quality, especially with Maddison and Godden. I think both of them are in form. Definitely Maddison. His stats have been crazy the past 10 games. But my lineup would probably be Chapman in goal, because he's had, before the Sunderland game, he got 3 clean sheets in 3, I believe. No, before the Fleetwood game, three clean sheets in 3, and then obviously we drew against Fleetwood, drew against Sunderland. So yeah, I'd stick with Chapman in goal, definitely. He's got the presence, and he commands his box a bit better than Connor O'Malley does. So I'd have him him in goal. My back four would be Jason Naismith because I think he's been brilliant the past few games. I know he got slated for being really slow, like that sort of stuff, not great, but he's really made that position his own. So he definitely has to stay at right back. The two centre backs, if Tafazoli's back because he's still an injury doubt, I believe, and Ben White I think is another injury doubt. But I would put Tafazoli and. If Tafazoli's fit, I'd play him. If Tafazoli's not fit, then just stick with Bennett and Knight because they've actually been playing okay. But if Tafazoli's fit, I would honestly go with Tafazoli and Zach Knight from Leicester. We got him on loan. And then left back, you're gonna want Lafferty. I don't rate Lafferty at all. I think he's an average player at best. We got him on loan from Sheffield United, I believe, maybe something like that. I can't remember who. But yeah, last game obviously he was against Sunderland's wingers, and he got absolutely rinsed. Like everything they were doing was coming through that side, and he had a really poor game, so his confidence is probably low. But in all honesty, our only other left back is Tyler Denton, who is just not much better in the slightest. So yeah, I'd stick with Lafferty. So back four of Naismith, Bennett and Knight, or Tafazoli and Knight if he's fit, and Danny Lafferty. And then in the midfield, I would have I'd go with a 4-4-2, just so you know, 4-4-2 flat, no diamond, no nothing. So I would go with Woodyard and Reed in the middle because them two have been playing well together recently. Obviously Woodyard does the sort of the dirty work. He's you sort of sit in front of the back line, he'll do that sort of job, and then Reed's more of the player. If he gets the ball in space, he'll find a pass 99% of the time. He's more of the ball player, and then getting into the wingers and attackers, this is where it starts to get a bit more interesting because apart from the four, like the left mid, right mid, and then the two strikers, we haven't got too many like very, very good players. Like a lot of them defenders and the midfielders and the goalkeeper that I was talking about are just average. Like they're very, very average. They're not good. They're not terrible, but they're not they're not brilliant. And then on right mid, I would have Marcus Maddison. Who else? Like on the right wing / right mid, I'd definitely have Maddison. He's got to be 100% in any team, like any starting 11 we have. Like if we didn't have him, we wouldn't even have a prayer at the playoffs right now. So yeah, 100% Maddison in the right mid position, and then left mid you've got to have Siriki Dembele. He's playing well, but I feel like his end product still needs some work because he does a few nice little flicks and tricks. He gets around a few players, but then doesn't always release the ball at the right time, doesn't make the right pass or cross. So I'd definitely play him because he scares defenders to death, like he really does. But if he can get his end product, a bit of a high level, then he could be a class player. He's a bit like the League One Alex Iwobi, if that can even be a comparison. Like Iwobi's a class dribbler, he can get round players, he's got skills, but his end product's just trash. And then I would play two up front. So the first striker would be Ivan Toney. I know he hasn't played because we've been playing one up front recently with just one or the other, Toney or Godden. But I'd like to see them both play up front. I'd like to see Toney and Godden link up because I feel like they're both good in the air. Even though Godden's quite small, he can jump quite high, so he can win a lot of Route 1 sort of stuff, which we don't really play, but like from the keeper, when he kicks it up from a goal kick, he wins a lot of them. And obviously Tony's quite big, he's strong, he can He can hold up the ball and bring others into play, which is a really good trait to have in a striker, especially when you're playing two up front. And Godden's in good form. He's scoring a few goals here and there, so his confidence going to be up. I wish Tony would score because he hasn't scored in so long. It feels like he hasn't scored in ages, but he probably has. But yeah, that would be my starting lineup. Do you agree with me? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I obviously the big miss is probably Lee Tomlin. I wouldn't actually start him because he hasn't done a lot, to be honest, since he's been back. I would rather have him as an impact sub. It's sort of like if we're drawing 70, 75 minutes in, he can come on, give it his all for like 20 minutes because we all know his fitness isn't the best. And then, yeah, he can hopefully create something. I think he's only scored once since he's been back. So, I mean, it's not a brilliant return. I think we expected a lot more from him, but we have to remember his fitness is still diabolical. So, yeah, I'd have Tomlin on the bench, definitely. Cooper, he probably deserves to start, but you've got to just find that balance between Dembele and Cooper, because I think Cooper was really good against Sunderland. Like, he really came into his own, but he hasn't played hardly at all this season. So I would definitely have Cooper as an impact sub. I'd probably bring him on around the 60-minute mark, maybe for one of our midfielders. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a manager. That's his call. I'd have Cooper, Tomlin on the bench. Maybe Harrison Burrows as well, just throwing a bit of youth. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to obviously go through all the bench, but that's a few players I would have on there, so we can bring them on who will actually make a definite impact, if you know what I mean. So next thing is the score prediction. So I'm going to go for 3-1 to Posh. I feel like with our quality up front, especially with Maddison, Dembele, Tomlin and Godden, all of them players in one team, is just, I think it'll be too much for Walsall's defence to handle, because I think them, like, if you took one of them out, they'd get into most League One teams, probably even like the likes of Portsmouth, Sunderland, Luton's team. I really think as an individual they would get in. We've got real quality there. And I hope we keep them till next season. So yeah, I would go 3-1. Maddison getting a goal and an assist, and Tony and Godden getting one each. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. I've gone through my lineup. I've gone through my score prediction. I will show my my team lineup on like a screen capture on the screen somewhere, maybe here or here, and then I'll show like my score prediction somewhere. But you guys could, 3-1, that's pretty easy to remember, but the team lineup obviously is 11 players, so I will put it up somewhere when I start talking about this in the actual video. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the first episode of the Posh preview. I hope you enjoyed. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, let me know in the comments below. I'll go through them and reply to you all. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you agree with my lineup or score prediction? Just let me know. Anything else you want to see in these sort of Posh preview videos? Also, just drop a comment down below. But make sure you like and subscribe. Share the video around with your football friends, or if anyone supports Peterborough United in your friend group, make sure you share it around to them, because we don't really have someone that does like a YouTube or something like that from Peterborough that goes to the games and stuff. So it'd be quite cool if we could actually, have someone that does that, and hopefully that could be me, maybe. But yeah, like I said, like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later, maybe even today. But yeah, guys, and as always, cheers.